So I noticed a bunch of Nintendo Switch eShop sale videos going up by various creators, and I was like, hey, I thought everyone makes fun of me for making these videos. What's the deal with that? But then I quickly looked and realized, hey, there's a really good Nintendo Switch eShop sale going on right now. So if this is your first time on the channel, we're going to skip the long intros. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, as all of these games are on sale at the time of the filming of this video, which is September 29th. I don't want you guys to miss out on these deals. If you have your notifications turned on, you won't. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video where we give some games that are $5 or less for all you cheap ass people out there. But without any further ado, let's get into the list of games because, well, there's a lot of bangers. To start things off, we have what could potentially still be my game of the year, and that is Monster Hunter Rise. Now, Monster Hunter Rise is on sale for $49.99, and this is just, it's such a good game. When you play it, it really feels like a game that would be on what we are expecting the Nintendo Switch Pro to do in terms of graphics, in terms of performance, and it's just such a well-structured game. There's so much to explore within this game as well, with all the different monsters and monster types. Of course, there is a big DLC incoming as well that will be a paid DLC, but there's been lots of free updates to the game too. It's a game you could sink a ton of time into. The new traversal mechanics make it just absolutely fantastic. I couldn't really imagine going back to the traditional Monster Hunter games that don't feature the wire bug and the palamute, because it just makes things so much better. Monster Hunter Rise, like I said, definitely a game of the year contender for me, and now you can get it for $49.99. Next up is a game that I haven't picked up yet. It's a game that did not sell all that great, but it's definitely a game worth talking about, and that is Neo: The World Ends With You. Now, this is of course the sequel to the Nintendo DS game, and honestly, I really like the DS game, but for whatever reason, I never got around to picking up the sequel that came out earlier this year. Now that the game's on sale for $41.99 though, I might actually bite on it. Most of the people who played this game said it was really good. They're kind of confused as to why it did not sell all that great. I really think the reason is just because of the length of time between the original DS release and the sequel. You know, it took forever to come out. Yes, they re-released the game on the Nintendo Switch, but it had really bad controls too, whereas this is a more streamlined experience. So if you're looking for an interesting sort of quirky RPG, Neo: The World Ends With You at $41.99 is a very safe bet. Now, this game isn't even out yet, but Nickelodeon AllStar Brawl is available for pre-order for $39.99 right now. And this game, when it comes out, it'll retail at $49.99. So you're saving 10 bucks on this game. And I have a feeling that a lot of you guys are going to be interested in this game. It's essentially Nickelodeon characters in a Super Smash Bros. Game. It has rollback netcode, which will make the online experience probably a lot better than Smash Ultimate is. And of course, all the variety of characters have their own different moves, own stages, and things of that nature. I wish it had some older Nickelodeon stuff in it, you know, more early 90s, but I definitely get who the demographic is here for this game. There are people like Ren and Stimpy and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and of course there's lots of SpongeBob stuff because everyone loves SpongeBob, everyone except RGT. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl comes out on October 5th, but if you pre-order it now, you can get the game for $39.99. The next two games are coming to us from a controversial company that everyone hates right now, and pretty much for good reason, but that doesn't mean that these games still aren't good games to pick up, so I'm still gonna talk about them anyways. The first game is Tony Hawk 1 and 2 Remastered for the Nintendo Switch, coming in at $29.99. Honestly, I absolutely love this version of the game. Yes, it is only 30 frames per second versus the 60 frames per second available on other platforms, but the portability aspect definitely shines for me with this game because these are games I want to be able to play whenever. I grew up playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, and these are great representations. They still feel fresh, even though it's essentially the same sort of game that you played back in the day with the same levels and the same characters, but everything is updated to feel a lot more modern. So I definitely appreciated that with this game. The online works really well as well. It's a very fun experience from top to bottom. So Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 Remastered on sale right now for $29.99. And the second game coming to us is Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time, also coming in at $29.99. And I absolutely love this game. It's pretty challenging at times, but I feel like there's enough checkpoints that make it worthwhile to the point of where you're not going to get super frustrated. I think the game looks and plays fantastic on the Nintendo Switch. It's a really solid platforming experience, sort of combining that 2D and 3D stuff. I guess you would call it 2.5D, but I feel like it's more than 2.5D because there are some more open 3D style areas. The levels themselves are very interesting. The story is decent enough. There's a ton of stuff to unlock in the game as well. Just a really good port of a really fun game. Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, $29.99. Next up is a game that I bought, and I did not talk about it on the channel, but I talked about it a lot on Twitter, and that is Olympic Games Tokyo, which is coming in at $19.99. Now, of course, this game was supposed to release last year, but since the 2020 Olympics were delayed, it did not release until a few months ago. And honestly, it's just a compilation of a bunch of different mini games that you play with different sporting events, such as boxing, basketball, and of course, track and field sort of stuff. But I actually really like this game. All the costumes in the game are really cool. Like, you can play as Sonic the Hedgehog, like dunking a basketball and running on track and field, and it's like a human looking Sonic the Hedgehog, so it looks so ridiculous and absurd out there, but somehow it just makes sense. If you like games like international track and field sort of stuff that used to come out during the NES era, this is a really fun game. Lots of button mashing stuff, lots of local multiplayer, online multiplayer as well. It's a game that probably sold like absolute crap, but honestly, it's a hell of a lot of fun. Olympic Games Tokyo, $19.99. Also at $19.99 is Balan Wonder. We're not talking about Balan. Get the hell out of here. The Outer Worlds is currently on sale on the Nintendo Switch for $19.79. Great Smashing Pumpkin song. And you know what? Pick it up. Like, if you're looking for a Fallout style experience, you know, a game in the vein of Fallout 3 or Fallout 4, this is really your only option on the Nintendo Switch. And yes, when it first came out, it was definitely pretty rough around the edges, but I still ended up completing the whole game, spent like 30 hours with it because I like the story. I like the gameplay format of a game like Fallout, and it really translates well to the Nintendo Switch. Now, since the initial release of the game, there have been subsequent patches that improve things such as performance, graphical clarity, and a lot of this actually plays into the handheld mode version more so than when you're playing it in docked mode. So this is a great game to play on the go. You know, there's so many open-ended things you could do in it. There's of course additional DLC that has released for the game as well, but even just the core experience was a lot of fun for me. And yes, it was a bit rough around the edges, but the new patches have definitely improved upon this game, and I think it's awesome. The Outer Worlds is on sale for $19.79, and Shakedown 1979. If you're looking for some fast, high-octane racing, Burnout Paradise Remastered is currently on sale for $14.99, and this is a super fun game. A game that you could just pick up and play it and have a lot of fun. You don't even need to do the story stuff. You don't need to do the missions. I mean, you can and you should because it unlocks more stuff for you to do and more cars and whatnot, but it's just a fun game to just sort of race around, crash into people, crash into things. Of course, there's online multiplayer as well, and the game runs at a rock-solid 60 frames per second, whether you're playing it in docked or in handheld mode. It's fast-paced, it's frantic, it's crazy, but Burnout games are super fun, and Burnout Paradise Remastered is a great addition to that library of games. Burnout Paradise Remastered on sale for $14.99. Final Fantasy VII is on sale for $7.99, and I'm always going to recommend this game. It's a game that I definitely thought was overrated for many years, but going back and playing through it again as an adult, both the original version and the remake version that we've gotten so far, I've definitely really grown to appreciate this game. The Nintendo Switch version of the game is super good. The fact that you can play it anywhere is of course really fun. There's stuff like speed up mode for when you're walking in the overworlds, and of course when you're in battle to make things go a little bit snappier. Just a fantastic version of a game that is an all-time classic. Final Fantasy VII on sale for $7.99, and I definitely recommend it. Fury is on sale for $6.99, and this is a game that on the surface isn't really an RGT game. It's essentially a one-on-one boss battle game, and it's very hard. Like, it's a very challenging game. I remember playing it when it first came out, and I got very frustrated because I just kept dying like a lot of people did in this game. But there's a lot of things in this game that I like that keep me coming back, whereas other games in this genre, not so much. And I think it really boils down to both the aesthetic and the music of the game. Now, visually speaking, it's a very sort of synthwave 80s sort of vibe to it, and that really transcends into the music as well, as this game has a fantastic soundtrack. It's a game that, like I said, it's very challenging. It'll push you to your limits, and it's a game that you will get frustrated with, but the aesthetic of the game really keeps you involved, and just the vibe of the game is just absolutely fantastic. Fury on sale for $6.99. Panzer Dragoon Remake is on sale for $6.24. We've talked about this game pretty much every time it's been on sale. I love the original game. I love this version of the game. They've included things like the Sega Saturn cheat mode, has level 0 in it, so you can add in all of those Sega Saturn cheats that were originally available in the game, and they've just done a really solid job with it. Initially, it was a little bit rough around the edges, but the subsequent patches that we have gotten have made for a much better experience. And of course, it's just a great game. It's a really unique game. If you're a fan of games like Star Fox, Panzer Dragoon Remake is definitely a game worth checking out at $6.24. All right, cheap asses, you've made it to the $5 or less games. Let's just jump right into it. Castlevania Anniversary Collection is on sale for $4.99. You're getting Castlevania 1 through 3, Castlevania Bloodline, Super Castlevania 4, Castlevania games from the Game Boy, Kid Dracula, a museum, a gallery of artwork and stuff, soundtracks. Like, this is a no-brainer if you are a Castlevania fan. I absolutely love the Castlevania Advance Collection that just came out, and this is a great way to complement it, because you could buy that for $19.99 and buy this for $4.99 and get a ton of Castlevania games for $25. This is a no-brainer. Do not pass this up. The Contra Anniversary Collection is also on sale for $4.99, so if you're a fan of those run and gun Contra games from back in the day, you'll definitely enjoy that too, but I prefer Castlevania over Contra. Doom 3 is on sale for $4.99, and this is a beautiful game. Like, yes, it's originally an Xbox game, whatever, but this game runs at 1080p 60 frames per second, and I think it still holds up. There's great lighting effects. It's not really the classic Doom that we all know, where you're like, you know, just blowing through enemies and stuff like that. It's definitely more survival horror puzzle mechanics as well, and I think this game is an absolute hidden gem. It's a misunderstood game, but when you go into the game thinking, okay, it's more of Resident Evil meets Doom, you're going to absolutely love this game. It's a great experience on the Nintendo Switch, and it's on sale for $4.99. Of course, Halloween is coming up, and Haunted Halloween 86 is on sale for $2.99. A really fun platformer game that originally released on the NES and then was ported over to the Nintendo Switch. I really don't have anything negative to say about this game. I really like what they've done with it. You could switch characters on the fly as well, which I think is a really fun thing. Your life meter is pretty much dependent on how, you know, dingy your character starts to look as you start to take hits. Your character's skin tone will change because he's becoming a zombie, which I think is a really cool mechanic, and I just really enjoy this game. Everything about it is very pleasing, from the visuals to the music to the very tight controls. Really solid game. Haunted Halloween 86, $2.99, definitely an RGT recommendation. Gunman Clive Collection is on sale for $2.49. These games originally came out on the Nintendo 3DS, and they're very interesting games. You know, it's kind of hard to classify them. I mean, I guess that they're, you know, the root of it, they're just 2D platformers, but just the style of the game, the visual style of the game, the art style, it's almost like, you know, an old school kind of flip comic book sort of thing, and I really like that about this game. It plays very smooth. It's very interesting to see all of the different levels you get into. The color palettes between the games do vary, so you definitely feel like a little bit different when playing like the second game in the collection, because it definitely feels a bit more advanced, but I love both of the games in here. I think it's a great collection, and it's only $2.24. And the final game kind of sucks. I mean, it really sucks. It's called Bloodbreed. It's $1.99, but the premise of this game I absolutely love. You're just like this character going through these massive buildings, and there's some dude in like a Jason Voorhees mask chasing you, and like the game is quiet, and then all of a sudden when fake Jason Voorhees pops up, like all this crazy metal music starts playing. Like, it's so bizarre. It's not a good game, but it's almost a so bad it's good game. You'll find some enjoyment out of it if you kind of enjoy just like low budget, you know, B-movie style games. I think this game definitely scratches a weird itch that you might have. Bloodbreed on sale for $1.99. Alrighty, so there are a bunch of games that are currently on sale on the Nintendo Switch eShop. Let me know in the comments section down below what games you plan on picking up, and of course let other people know in the comments what games they should have on their radar. Like I said, there's like over 1,000 games on sale right now, so I'm obviously not going to cover every single one of them, although It would be fun for all that ad revenue. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications so you're not missing out on videos like this. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.